Version 3.3 just reshuffled team rankings hard. The Endstate Matrix is packed with annoying bosses, flying Nameless Explorer, the Chad Furnace core frame, plus fast slow combos, super backsteps, and forced interrupts. Buckle up, folks. Who's still looking at paper DPS? Team consistency and chase down ability, that's the real key to the Matrix. So who's the real god and who's the absolute scrub? After 100 hours of testing, Old Cat is breaking down the 3 gold team tier list. Why 3 gold? Because main DPS 0 or 1 sub DPS 0 or 0 is the most realistic box rating for most of us. We rate across 3 dimensions, consistency, brain off factor, and damage, based mostly on the brain off rotation. Quick note on advanced rotations, there's a huge gap between mobile and PC. Stuff like free inputs just doesn't work on mobile, so the brain off rotation carries more weight here. Bottom line first, in the 3.3 matrix, as long as your execution is decent and you allocate teams sensibly, the scoring benchmark is Gen 1 teams 5,000, Gen 2 teams 7,500, Gen 3 teams 9,000. Gen 1 teams have ancient mechanics, garbage chase, get bullied to death in 2 hits, and can't even clear without matrix buffs. Gen 2 teams main DPS numbers barely change, the real boost is the massive sub DPS damage upgrade. Gen 3? Numbers go up slightly, but mainly the floor is raised, better chase, more stable damage, easier execution. Even casual hand cramp players can squeeze out 90 damage. The most underrated is Galbrena's team, surprisingly strong. The most brain off, no interaction comps are Jiyan, and Aemeath, all those time stops and CCs against ADHD bosses feel so good. Starting with Gen 1, Jiyan's mainstream is Jiyan Mortify. Sure, brain off, but way too clunky, basically zero chase, and matrix bosses fly and dive everywhere. Sprinting 100 meters to catch them? Tier 4 at best. The Jiyan Psychona team can chain ult seamlessly, but it's super execution heavy, way more effort for less reward in the current meta. Just skip it. Jinxi's Dragon Beam ignores interactions, even when she gets staggered, it still fires. Super stable in high pressure fights, sadly her numbers can't keep up. With conservative resonance chain she handles round 1 astronaut just fine. Among the brain off teams, Jinxi Cantarella and Jinxi Elin are roughly equal, they clear all the trash mobs, but to max out 5,000 points you've gotta cheese the Dragon Beam. Full crit build, overall T3. The Jinxi double DPS comp is stronger but requires rotation alignment, skip it if you can't execute, bottom of T3. The Jinxi Grand team is too hard for the average player so I won't even bring it up. Shangli Yao's free buffs are, whatever. His ULT has 3 time stops but he still loses damage easily. Main team is Shangli Yao Elin. Elin's strength, if you know, you know. The character is worse than her weapon. Basically a synonym for chip damage filler that gets staggered to death. One backstep or air dodge from the boss and she's done. Camellya's main teams are Camellya Rosia and Camellya Sanhua. In the Matrix, Camellya Sanhua is better, Rosia's dance just gets her launched constantly. Not even as good as Sanhua's quick concerto, and they barely scrape 5,000 if you grind it out T4 only. Now Gen 2 teams, strength jumps a clear tier. Tiny Tot Zhuzhi refuses to interact, top tier brain off play. Her main teams are Zhuzhi Changli and Zhuzhi Carlotta. Zhuzhi's scores are rock solid, no damage lost, the more mobs there are. The more her brain off comfort shines. In a class of her own. Almost every cycle is a perfect 25-second rotation. While Zanaphivi, Kartithia, and Augusta Yuno are getting smacked around, you can completely zone out with Zhuzhi. Sadly the numbers don't keep up, even 5,000 sometimes needs a restart. At S0, T3, at S2, S3, T2. Carlotta hits slightly harder than Zhuzhi, DPS goes from 65k to 72k, also super brain off, but still only T3. Augusta's mainstream Augusta Brand fusion team requires real execution. The deeper into the matrix you go, the more target locking and anti-air matter, Augusta Brand is solid on both, very comfortable against the astronaut. But after round 2 in the Matrix, if Augusta doesn't go double anchor her damage falls off, and double anchor is super execution heavy and inconsistent. Overall T3. Zani only has the Zaniphivi team, huge spread between floor and ceiling. To push for high scores, slot 3 must be Spectral Rover with a line rotation. Going from 2 mid-stage procs to 4 mid-stage procs can be a 2-3x score difference. Scores range from 700 to 10,000. Rotation alignment is easier than Kartithia. Downside, almost no anti-air, and one stagger throws off the whole rotation, forcing a restart. But she can handle the astronaut, lock down the opener, then her late night phase, plus Rolova's execute and Spectral Rover's concerto, get the 3-second tempo right and it's basically permanent stun. Overall T2, high-level players can push T0. Kartithia is the team with the biggest gap between theoretical and actual damage, insane ceiling. From single plunge to double plunge swap rotation, DPS jumps from 90k to 110k, ceiling even exceeds Hiyuki. But in high-pressure environments she loses damage easily to staggers. Less stable than Zaniphivi, low-end under 5,000, high-end can hit 13,000. For most people, just learning a simple double plunge is enough. The complete Kartithia Psychona is a bit easier than the Kartithia Sword variant. Overall T2, T0 for high-level players. Frolova's damage is incredibly consistent and works in any non-resist environment. Mainstream team is Frolova Cantarella. Same tier as Zhuzhi. Brain off team with many time stops, hard to interrupt, but teammates Cantarella's heavy attack and Rosia's dance get staggered easily. On PC you can fix Cantarella with free inputs. Rosia is now replaced by Mornai, way stronger. Stable 7,000 in Matrix, plenty enough. T2 Augusta's gameplay is simple, consistency is mid. If her spin cut gets interrupted, restart. Weak versus air. The mainstream Augusta Yuno team versus the astronaut? Pure rage. But against Sigilum she easily hits 9,000. Rotation is pretty fixed, beginner friendly, T2. If you don't have the full team, Augusta Yuno can split into Solo Augusta and Solo Yuno, both can clear 5,000. Solo Yuno is actually simpler than Augusta Yuno together, and equally strong. Linne rarely gets staggered, has tanky survivability, flies up and spams shots brain off, just don't fly too high where you lose damage. Overall T2. Galbrena upper mid Gen 2. Big numbers, those huge wings, strong chase. Main teams are Galbrena Choyuan and Galbrena Lupa. In Matrix her performance is decent, gets knocked around but 6,000 is no problem, top of T2. Galbrena's team is seriously underrated. The Matrix increasingly rewards chase and anti-air, and Galbrena hits exactly those pain points. Buttery smooth gameplay, auto-dodge, great environmental adaptability, smooth damage output, super comfortable against air bosses like the astronaut. With more Nai in slot 3, rotation alignment is easy. Use Augusta and the difficulty spikes. A textbook hexagonal stat unit. Overall T1. Finally, Gen 3 teams. Higher floor, even more brain off. Aemeath's Gen 3 brain off rotation is short, damage is stable, chase is strong, and the gap between pros and noobs is tiny. Yang system, Aemeath and Aemeath Lupa teams. Detonation system, Aemeath and Hiyuki, which only fully comes together in the second half of the patch. Aemeath lets even pros turn off their brain, consistency. Maxed out. Strong anti-air, specializes in cracking the hardest parts of the matrix. Even with single execute brain off rotation, DPS hits 95k, about the same as Cartesia's double plunge rotation. Even if you run double rover, advanced rotation isn't hard. Easy 10k. Undisputed T0. Aemeath Lupa is a downgrade of Aemeath needs slightly more execution. Double variation rotation, around 87k DPS. Lupa has auto-dodge, decent survival, but power-wise she's mid-gen 2 tier, around 8000 in matrix, T2. Look person, strong anti-air, low execution requirement, excellent target lock and chase, built-in interrupt resistance, can even dodge while staggered. Against the astronaut he basically owns that boss. His core team is Look Dania, but Dania hasn't even rate up yet. Current substitutes are Look Cantarella and Look Linnae Gen 2 power level, on the weak side, but mechanically strong, kind of a counterpick. 7000 is no problem, T2. Sigrika, a severely underrated character. Her real damage is explosive. And her execution isn't even complex. The best part, her team needs are all older characters, no one else fights you for them, making Sigrika Linnae more 9 peak value. Gameplay looks unremarkable, but the damage doesn't lose to anyone. The Aemeath Linnae Morning comp has solid consistency, just slightly weaker on chase, a bit clunky against ADHD bosses, but with proper play she can even tank the Chad Furnace core frame. And counterattack in one combo. Overall T1. Hiyuki feels incredible, strong chase, and CC mobs, main damage flow is super stable, works in every mode. Mainstream Hiyuki Linnae team has a 3 rotation brain off cycle, simple to execute, but easy to time out and miss the full duration. Sub DPS Concerto needs slight rotation alignment. Downside for ULT. Transform form's first 3 basic attacks get staggered easily, and even resonance chains can't save it. You have to wait for the complete 3.4 Hiyuki for Loba system, where the ULT afterglow stacks perfectly trigger the double toon break, done right you can proc it twice, and you never get staggered again. New players can even try the 4-step advanced combo. Right now the Hiyuki for Loba team dominates every mode. DPS is around 95k, same as the Aemeath Linnae team. Easy 10k in Matrix. Solid T0, no contest. To wrap up, Matrix bosses are getting more and more annoying. Pure DPS comparisons don't work anymore. For most players, consistency, chaseability, and fault tolerance are what really decide team strength. The damage you actually land, that's the real damage. Alright, that's a wrap on the Matrix team tier list. If you found this useful, smash that like and subscribe. See you next time.